And this
on
was
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve. This was everywhere. So you would see pig on a pole when we was going to work, and chickens. When we was going to work, you would see these big things, probably 8 feet long and 4 feet wide, and it was a fire pit.
10 pigs.
You had 10 pigs or whatever, and they would have them on a spit or whatever, turning them and cooking them up. And there was no refrigeration. These would sit there, it was 30 Celsius. These were right out in the open, and people would come, and they had a scale here. They'd buy a slab off this or buy a chicken, and they'd weigh it, and you'd take it home and eat it, but nothing
And sit
refrigerated.
out there all day and flies would come on it and everything else like that. And we saw a chicken sitting out there one time, and like it was just covered in flies. I'm just like, Dad, I think I can wait a little bit longer. That's another picture of the chicken.
This was at a liquor store, and everywhere we went, there was armed guards everywhere. Grocery stores, we never went into the grocery stores, but the grocery stores where the people with any wealth would go to, like a superstore here, we would say, they had armed guards in there with guns, so if anybody stole anything, and they seen you stealing it, you was not getting away with it, because they'd run you down, and like I said, they had armed guards at any place of anything that they considered valuable. There was armed guards. And this guy's got an automatic weapon, a machine gun, so you really want to be running fast if he's chasing you. That's the typical motorbike there, so you can picture 5 people sitting on that motorbike. This was just us we was on our way to an excursion here to, finally we was done working, we was going on an excursion, going out to a beach on an island.
That was really nice.
And this was going to Santiago. Another thing we didn't have a picture of here, that I wish we had was the garbage there. Everywhere in Santo Domingo, it was garbage everywhere. Out here in the ditch would be right completely full of garbage, like if this was there. It was just, and the people would just throw garbage there, and then a week later they would burn it, and then they would keep throwing more there. It was just a terrible mess, garbage all over the place. But I mean, out in the country it wasn't like that. It was a lot cleaner. It was beautiful out in the country, but the city was really dirty.
Like this is.
We were heading towards Santiago here for 27 Waterfalls. That was the resort we stayed at again. I think these pictures are the resort.
Yeah, I did the resort pictures.
That was, you could see when we come out in the morning, we'd stand here, this was like a center court, so you could look right out to the sky there. The rain would rain right inside if it ever did rain there.
Yep.
That was me and Jeff.
Yep.
That was just another part of the resort there. That was a basketball court they had at their resort, so I guess they had a few games of basketball once in a while. That was Seth. That was the little guy with the prosthetic legs there.
And that was his sister.
Yeah, that's his sister, Stephanie.
That's the spider.
That was in our resort, and it was as big as my hand, a tarantula.
Yep. It was huge. Nobody wanted to kill it.
And so finally, Deanna, Seth, and Stephanie's mother, she borrowed Zoe's baseball cap, took a piece of cardboard or something, and shoved it in Zoe's baseball cap and carried it out and threw it outside.
And then it came back later on that day, so they put it in a box and took it to the other side of the resort. And then 3 days later, it came back again. It was great.
This was the caves that we went to on Saturday afternoon. They took us to an underground cave right in Santo Domingo. And that was a beautiful spot. The guy that worked, there was a little ferry, just a hand ferry that had a rope across. Say it was probably 100 feet or so, and he had a rope tied here and a rope tied there, and that's his job all day. People would get on it, he'd pull you across and
Ever
pull you
since
back.
he was 18, he worked
He was
there.
18, he said he started working there, and he's 46, and he's never missed a day of work.
Wow. Must have strong arms.
Yeah, he was a thin fellow, but he never stopped.
That's Dad in the caves.
And that's Zoe there, back in the back cot. This was again going down into the caves. This line was for that fellow to pull us across, over to the other side.
Yeah.
This was when we went on our beach excursion here.
Yep, this is a really
This
nice
water
excursion.
is filthy here because all the people, they run their sewage right into the water and stuff, so all the homes, they have their sewage, they don't have, like we have here, a sewage system, they just run it right into the water.
When the motor started going on the boat, you could see all this brown stuff bubbling up. It was disgusting. And you know it's not supposed to be brown there because there's a bunch of white sand. So this is on the big boat that we were on. That's the water. That's really nice water.
And Paul, the friend of ours we hung around with, he said to us just recently, he said, that water was cold there, wasn't it? Oh, that was like bathtub water. It was probably 70 or 80 degrees, the water, it was beautiful.
Yeah, and that's the water there. And like the lighter spots is where it's sand, but then the darker spots is where there's coral reefs with like fish and all that kind of stuff. Send a picture of it.
This is just all pictures of our excursion. How nice the water was. The water was just, it was super beautiful.
Yeah. And me and Dad after we went swimming.
That was the island beach that we stayed at. There we were just acting crazy.
There's 3 of us there on the boat.
And that's back
That's
and
back
first
to
there. So that was our trip to the Dominican, and there was a couple other Bible verses I just want to talk about. It was Matthew 26, verse 40, and I'll read that to you. And it was just, for us, it was a really good experience, and if anybody ever has an opportunity to go on a mission trip, I know financially it costs quite a bit, but the rewards of it is even greater, because what we provided for the people there, they could not provide for themselves. And I've said to different people, like here, Paul, a guy I worked with this past week, he said, you go spend over $4,000 on a trip like that. He said, I just bought me a brand new snowmobile. He said, all you got's memories of that, but I got this snowmobile forever now. And I was like, yeah, but the people we helped there was the difference. I mean, these people have what we did forever. We might not have it physically, but they do. In Matthew 26:40, it says, and he comes to the disciples. Oh, I got the wrong verse down here. Well, Matthew 20, the one that I wanted was, inasmuch as you have done it to them, you've done it to the least of them, my brethren. So when we do something for somebody else, I mean, it's the same as doing it for God. And Matthew 7:12 says, whatsoever you would that men do to you, do even so unto them. So I think about it this way. If we was in that situation and we had no money, we couldn't provide for ourselves, we would be thankful if somebody stepped in and helped us. So I mean, for those people that we went and helped, this was something that they couldn't provide for themselves. But everyone that was there, like I said, it was doctors, it was computer workers, it was construction workers, whatever. I mean, it was all people that we could all provide for ourselves here financially, and we had the means to help these people too with something that they couldn't help themselves. And these people will be eternally grateful, and they'll take this into the kingdom of heaven with them, the home that we've built for them there. And I was reading just recently, and Maranoth has been around for 30 plus years, and they built over 1,500 churches for people in the past 30 plus years. So I would encourage you, if you ever have the thoughts of going on a mission trip, look up Maranoth Volunteers International. They do probably 10 or 12 trips a year. And I know Paul was telling Zoe last night that she should go on one in the summer. In July they have one just for the young people, like ages 18 to 35 or something. So I mean, there's all kinds of them. There's family ones, there's singles ones, there's young people, there's old people, there's whatever. And don't think you're too old to go, because there was a lot of retired people there that were in their 60s and more. Roman, a guy that he just sent us a video recently, and he was probably 65 or 70. And him and his wife were real nice people. They had their whole family there. They had 21 of their family all came together, gave up their Christmas to come on a mission trip. So I mean, as a family you could go, if you could get all your family to go, as a church family we could go. But I mean, it's the experience that you'll never forget it. And once you've done it, you'll want to do it again, because I know we've been talking about, well, maybe we'll go next year. And we've been hoping Brittany would go, but we're not sure if she would go because she'd be afraid of getting a disease or something, but she might. She could work a VBS program, but she'd be good at that. So anyways, this was our mission project, and if you have any questions, you can ask us. And if you are interested in maybe checking something out, you can go to Maranoth Volunteers International and just check what they have for programs upcoming if you're interested in coming. And don't worry about the finances. The finances will come. If you want to go and help people, you'll get the money somehow. Because I know we went there, and I'm in no debt because of it. And I mean, I have an experience with my daughter that we're going to be grateful for eternity. So I just thank the Lord that we had the opportunity to go on Does anybody have any questions for us before we close, or?
I do. You said they put the second part so they don't have to pay property taxes, but there's actual roofs on the church. Did they have to pay property taxes for churches?
I would say so, but I don't know whether churches are exempt from that or not. They just told us about the housing, so I don't know for churches and stuff. But I know, and like I said, like this house here is finished here, but if you looked in the background here, there was probably 10 or 20 houses, and all of them would have maybe half a dozen blocks up on the second floor, but nothing finished. And they must, as they get the money, they would buy 10 or 20 blocks and block up a little more, and then next week they might get a little more money and block it up more, or maybe they'll never finish it. But the people there were happy. Like, we never seen anybody that was unhappy there. Everybody seemed happy. They don't have much, but they're happy. And I mean, here I find, as Canadians and North Americans, we're always striving for the next thing. Maybe I can buy a newer four-wheeler, or I can buy a newer car, or I can have a bigger house or a better house. There, they don't care about all that stuff. They're just happy every day that they get 3 meals a day. Avis?
Who provided materials like the tarps and that roof like there, right there, does not look like tarp?
Yeah.
So who provided that, Maranatha?
Yep, Maranatha provided all that. That's a part of the construction package that come, and that tarp, when we take it off, would go back and be used for the next construction project. But that was all from funds that had been raised. The church, as an incentive, the church has to raise the money. This structure here costs less than $5,000. So they expect the church to raise the money for that, and then Maranatha provides, that's the actual cost. Maranatha does not make a cent on the product that they sell. If that's $5,000 for that structure, that's what Maranatha pays for it, and they sell it to the church for the exact same price. And as workers, like, we all volunteer our time for free, and a lot of the stuff is free there, but the actual church structure they have to pay for themselves. And they raise money and pay for that.
You have to provide your own tools and everything too, though,
No,
right?
these were all their tools. We was told to bring like a measuring tape and a level and just the basic things, a hard hat and steel-toed boots, and we had to wear long pants, which after the second day I changed that rule and I wore shorts the rest of the week after that. Penny?
You said there were about 95 people that were on this mission trip.
Yeah.
So was everyone at the construction sites, or did some of the women go work, teaching VBS or teaching health and hygiene or whatever, like?
Yeah, there was
Were
4 programs going on at once. There was, or no, 5. There was a
Yeah.
painting crew, there was 2 construction sites, there was a vacation Bible school, and there was a medical program. So there was 5 programs of those 95 people going on a regular basis. And the VBS was every day for 2 VBSs, but that was just 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. The medical program wasn't every day. That was, I think, 3 days, the medical and dental. And the painting was every day and the construction was every day. So those that weren't doing medical every day, they would come to the construction group or the VBS group on their off days. So if you ever do consider going on a mission trip, don't think you're going on a vacation, because you're not. Because we was up every morning at 5:30, we had breakfast at 5:45, by 7 o'clock we was on the bus, and we worked hard. And we worked in a lot of hot weather. But when I went there, it was different than what I expected, because I was expecting it to be more of a vacation, and it wasn't, but I'm thankful it wasn't, because of what we accomplished together. I mean, we had that church all built for them, and then Zoe's site, they had a church finished for the people there that wasn't finished before, and they couldn't finish it without the help of the Maranatha workers. So I mean, if you ever go on one, don't think you're going on a vacation. Think, I am going there, and I'm going to sweat, and I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to do something to help the people out that they can't do themselves. Does anybody else have anything?
Do they use conduit in the block walls?
They did, but it wasn't like our conduit. Our conduit is kind of a thick wall PVC, the gray stuff. Theirs is a real thin walled PVC that they ran through the walls, but they don't put connectors in the boxes. They just drive the pipe right on through the boxes. And for the electrical panel, like, we cut all the holes out and set it right on there. They cut the whole bottom of the panel out and set it over top of the pipes. So the whole bottom of the panel is completely gone. They cut it right out and just stick the pipes up through and cut them off afterwards.
Be some odd residents take up in the panel.
Yeah. Does anybody else have anything? All right, looks like we're all cleared up then.
Well, did you all enjoy that presentation? Yes. Let's give David and Zoe a big Thank you, David and Zoe, for doing this presentation for us, and I know it's been an experience for each of you as you've been there and took part in this project. For me, I guess it's too late. Too old.
No, you're not. Nobody's too old.
And before, we're all invited to refreshments downstairs, but before we go downstairs for refreshments, let's close by singing hymn number 75, The Wonder of It All. Hymn number 75.
Dave, just press play button.